the land? I said, who wanna know the land? My papa's land. My papa's land. Africa, it's my papa's land. Now, hear me. We are no fools on the hill. My people are no fools on the hill. You must let my people go, so we can rule from Cape to Cairo. You must free my people's hands, so we can rule our purpose land. Oh, I wanna know who owns the land. Who wanna know who owns the land? Okay, now listen carefully. Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese. England is governed by Englishmen. America is governed by Americans. So, Africa must be ruled by Africans. I wanna know who owns the land. We must rule from Cape to Cairo. We must rule our purpose land. I said, we wanna know who owns the land. I wanna know who owns the land. Hey, Papa's land. Papa's land. Papa's land. It must be free. Angola want to know who owns the land. Mozambique want to know who owns the land.
We want to know who owns the land. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to come to you today from the great state of Texas, here precisely in Houston, Texas. I'd like to say good evening to all of you tuning in from Ground Zero and Ground One, and of course, all of you Amazonian citizens and supporters and sympathizers across the globe. In Europe, including the United Kingdom, in Canada and the USA, in the South America, in Asia, Singapore included, and China, of course. Thank you for tuning in. It is a great day, ladies and gentlemen, to be alive. I want to believe that for those of you tuning in by way of Facebook, you will go ahead as usual to quickly hit the share button to invite friends and sympathizers of this Amazonian struggle and of ABC to join the platform. This is very, very interesting. The alert, the exclusive stories that I bring to you today. So please, may you go ahead, for those of you joining by way of Facebook and of course YouTube. Go ahead and you hit your share button and populate the platform. Again, I got something very, very exciting to bring to you today, and I would love you to quickly go ahead and hit your share button so that I can bring these security alerts to you. They are very, very critical, not just for Nigeria, but also for Ground Zero. If you are on Ground Zero, this is very, very critical security alert that I'm going to be bringing to you in the course of this broadcast. So I like all of you again joining by way of Facebook. Please hit your share button, quickly so that we can populate the platform and I bring to you this information. Before I get there, I like to pass our greetings here to Ntumfoin Bo Herbert, who was recently in a very ghastly accident. I don't know how he survived that, but if you look at the vehicle from which he came out of, I mean, anybody would wonder, if not for God, I don't know what else could have saved him out of that accident. It was horrible, and he came out with all his parts intact. We thank God for that. And in Ntumfoin, We thank God for delivering you and for rescuing you out of that ghastly accident. Remain strong, sir. Ambazonia is for free, and you remain an integral part of it. We will take it to Boya together. And please remain safe. So, having said that, please, ladies and gentlemen, hit your share button. Those of you joining by way of Facebook, we're going to be talking about the draft that is coming up tomorrow, the Great Mezam draft. And I'm going to be joined by the chairman of Mezam, and others on the panel this evening. So, tomorrow, all the routes lead to Mezam. All the routes lead to Mezam. Mezam has some great local governments. I think it is the only county in Ambazonia with the highest number of local governments. I think about seven or eight in number. The panel, they are going to correct me if I'm wrong, because you have Tuba local government, Bali local government, Santa local government, Bafut. Is Bafut a local government? I don't know. I think Bafut is part of Tuba. Correct me, please, when we get there if I'm wrong. I think Bafut is supposed to be part of Tuba local government. Then you have Santa local government too. I think about seven of them. So tomorrow, last year, Mezam drafted 400. It was either 460 or 450. 450,000. That is what they drafted last year. I know tomorrow will be a challenge. I see so many people out there wondering what is happening in Mezam this time, in spite of the draft. But I must tell you, some good things have come out of Mezam, ladies and gentlemen. Bali has really made Mezam very, very proud. And I think Bafut too did a good job at a point in time to make Mezam proud. Things are quite shaky right now in Bafut, but we must not forget their past. They have made us proud in the recent past, and going forward, we can empower them and fix things up. That is why we have to ignore all the pertinence and every little wranglings out there and focus on empowering those boys sleeping in the bushes on our behalf. We've got to empower them to continue to do what they know how to do best tomorrow. So tomorrow again, Mezam, I'm going to have the Mezam chairman here to constitute the panel here. Hit your share button. Ladies and gentlemen, hit your share button. Again, I got very, very critical security information to bring to you today. Very critical information to bring to you today. Now, let me start with this. This is a message for the Ambazonia Restoration Forces out there in all of Ground Zero. All of Ground Zero, ladies and gentlemen. We have learned that every time Ambazonia Restoration Forces go out to launch an attack and return, French Cameroon go back to target them at those locations, because they know that the Restoration Forces will go back to those locations for images, for footages, for videos. Now, we are bringing this to the Restoration Forces as a warning. Please take note. When you go out and launch your battles, whatever you have to do, do it at that moment, and never have to return to that scene, not within that same period. Because we have learned, this is intelligence getting to us, we have learned that La République du Cameroon has realized you always go back to the scene to take pictures and to take footages. Please avoid doing that, because you will be trapped. You will be trapped. Don't go back to the scene of your battles for any reason. For any reason, once you have evacuated the scene, stay there. Stay there and not have to go back there. That is very, very critical. And again, this is a piece of intelligence that has come to us. It is a plot that French Cameroon soldiers would want to get you victims. So please, I hope you get this. Mondays remain our ghost towns, ladies and gentlemen. Mondays remain our ghost town. And I will say this again. Something is happening in Fako, and I will say Meme. Kumba after Bamenda is the biggest city in Ambazonia and the most thriving business enclave in Ambazonia. But it appears that not much is happening. It's happening in Kumba. Not much is happening in Kumba other than ghost town, which Kumba has respected. Nothing else is happening. It just appears like the restoration fighters no longer exist there. I don't know what is happening to the chairman or the security chief, the guy they call Tony. Tony has to do something or should be replaced. Kumba should be like Bamenda, because those are the two biggest cities in Ambazonia. And if somebody says he is in charge and nothing can be seen of him, he should be fired. Something has to be done. And this applies to Fako too. Boya, Victoria, Tiko, Mutengene. It doesn't appear like ghost towns even exist there anymore. I have said it here again and again that the only target in Ambazonia is in Fako. It should not be there. Roba still goes there. Oye still goes there. In tankers. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, schools are about to reopen. Schools are about to reopen in La République du Cameroon, and we have received inquiries here at the interim government again and again and again asking what is the position of the interim government as far as school resumption is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, the interim government has no new position for as long as school resumption is concerned. We have said it over the years that our position is, if wherever you are, if you think it is safe for you to send your children to school, if you being a school proprietor thinks it is safe for you to open doors to your institution, the choice is yours. Again, the choice is yours. We will not sit here and say, send your children to school, when actually one of the intelligence that I will be bringing to you here is about schools. It's about schools. So we will not come, do not expect us to come back to you at any time to say, you know what, open your schools or children go to schools. We are not ready to do that yet because we understand the security situation on ground zero. The choice will remain that of the parents. The choice will remain that of the school proprietors. You think it is safe enough for you to open your schools? Your discretion, sirs. You think it is good enough for you to send your children to school? Your discretion, sirs. That is the position of this interim government, and we are maintaining that. We will maintain that for as long as this conflict goes on, and for as long as the United Nations, UNICEF, UNESCO will not come in as they do in some other countries to create buffer zones for people to go to school securely and safely. So that is our position. Schools, we are saying to the parents, keep your children home if you deem there is no security out there. Schools, keep your schools shut down for as long as you can ascertain that there isn't any security there for you. This is very, very critical, ladies and gentlemen. In 1990, with the launching of multipartism with the SDF, I saw what happened in Bamenda. Some colleges or schools have never never recovered from what they went through. I'm talking specifically about Nacho Comprehensive College. Nacho Comprehensive College. Nacho will never ever be the same again. Nacho used to be the most thriving institution, educational institution out there in all of the northern zone. The most thriving private institution out there in the northern zone. What happened to it? The pig site, the owners pig site will apply to Cameroon against the people, and the place was attacked and destroyed. The Republic of Cameroon never compensated them, and even if they did, the reputation of Nacho was destroyed for good. And that's what we see it. That's what it is. It is back up and functioning, but you all know, Nacho Comprehensive will never ever be the same again. And that is why when we look back, we learn from the past and we advise people in the present. Those of you who are school proprietors, you invested a lot, billions or hundreds of millions, to have your institutions where they are today. We urge you to protect with jealousy the money you have invested in that infrastructure, and please use right judgment. Use right judgment to determine whether or not to open your doors for studies. Again, we can't say it enough to the parents. We urge you to again use the right judgment to decide whether or not to send your children to any school out there. All right, I hope you got that, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have to say about that. Now let me get to some intelligence that we have here. Now I have a very special presentation that I will be bringing to you shortly on the security alert. Most of you must have seen the press statement that we sent out there talking about plans by Cameroon to attack the Nigerian Coast Guards and other communities. I will be coming to that to throw a little more light to it. But in the meantime, we have some alerts here. And this is what it says. Again, what I bring to you is coming from intelligence. Intelligence from within the French Cameroon military sources. It should be interesting to you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that we get great intelligence from within their forces. They are not fighting that war because they love it. In fact, they have no motivation to fight. The only reason they fight is because of their salaries. Yes, it's only because of their salaries and the threat over their own lives. They are not fighting it because they love it. They are fighting it because if they don't, they will be killed. They will be killed. All right. Now, this is the intelligence we have coming from La République du Cameroon. More church shootings ahead. More church shootings are ahead. This time around the Catholic churches. Around the Catholic churches, and many students and many students, all to be attributed to our Ambazonia Restoration Forces, ladies and gentlemen. More church attacks coming ahead. Focus on Catholic churches and students. And those attacks, of course, you know, they will be attributed to Ambazonia Restoration Forces. Now, I am saying this so that the moment has come for churches to employ professional guards, if possible, to guard their surroundings. The moment has come. This is a war time. churches must learn to employ professional guards to secure their church buildings if they are capable of affording it. It is very, very important. Catholic churches, take note. Presbyterians, take note. Baptists, take note. Full Gospel, take note. Apostolic, take note. And every other independent denomination, please take note. This is what is coming. Do not say you were not informed, and do not take this lightly. We do not make this up. This is coming to us from their circles in Yaoundé. Now, the second alert says, there will be the burning of many houses. There will be the burning of many houses by the Cameroonian military, including mayors and Ambazonians who have refused to join the struggle and attribute it to Ambazonian restoration forces. Many burning of houses will continue, including those belonging to mayors and those of Ambazonians who refuse to join the struggle. Their houses will be burned by French Cameroon military, and they will attribute it again to the Ambazonian restoration forces. Some special targeted houses are those of late Simon Achidi Achu and the fond of Mankon's palace. Listen to me carefully. The targeted houses that we know for sure are the homes of the late Simon Achidi Achu and the palace of the fond of Mankon. Do not say we did not tell you. This is actionable intelligence. Again, this is actionable intelligence. That means take precaution. That means be vigilant. Be vigilant. Protect your homes. Protect Achidi Achu's home. Protect the palace of the fond of Mankon. This is intelligence. Authentic intelligence. The third point. Some funds have been targeted for assassination. Some funds have been targeted for assassination, especially those held in high esteem. Especially those held in high esteem by the people of the Midland and Savannah zones. The first on the list is Fon Anguafo of Mancom. The first fund on the list, on the targeted list, again, is the fund of Mancon. The fund of Mancon is a big target for La République du Cameroon. Do not ask me why, ladies and gentlemen. Do not ask me why. I am giving you intelligence. I wasn't part of the planning. I am only giving you what has been passed on to me. So the funds, certain funds should take note, and I will add to this list the fund of Bafut. Take note. The fund of Mancon, the fund of Nkwen. Now, La République du Cameroon will carry out these attacks not because they hate these funds. They are doing it so that they can then go out and say that these funds are all supporters of the CPDM and the government, and so the government couldn't have done this. The people who would have done this are the Ambazonia Restoration Forces. They are looking for something to give the Ambazonia Restoration Forces a bad name so they can hang them. They can hang them, ladies and gentlemen. So please, if you are a fund or a chief, even in the southern zone, take note of this. It is very, very important. Now, the last intelligence that I have here says a number of foreign soldiers, mostly from countries in Central Africa, the CIMAC meeting, were brought in recently through Ebola. I have heard this before. Listen carefully. Again, and I've heard this before. A number of foreign soldiers, mostly from countries in Central Africa, after the CIMAC meeting in Yaoundé, were brought in recently through Ebola. Some have already been sent to the coastal region and Midlands region and Savannah zones. We are advising our restoration forces and the civilians to be vigilant and alert the restoration forces of any strange face around them. Alert the restoration forces of any strange face around them. That is critical. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got this information. I hope you got this information. Again, this is not something we are making up. This is intelligence passed to us from our informants within the French Cameroon military. So we bring you, don't take it lightly. Do not take it lightly, especially the churches, the schools, and the funds palaces. Please take this information very, very seriously. All right. Now, I will now take you to one of the main subjects of the day here, ladies and gentlemen. I will now take you to the main subject of the day here, talking about the security alert for Nigeria. And I really want to hope that the Nigerian authorities will take this very, very seriously. This is not a makeup. Again, this is intelligence coming to us from within French Cameroon military. Now, all of you are aware of the recent joint security border summit that took place in Abuja a few days ago between Cameroon and Nigeria. Now, you also heard of Nigeria, the Nigerian representative commander or General Babagana speaking on behalf of General Buhari, insisting that Nigeria will not sit still to allow its territory to be used to destabilize another sovereign country, referring to La République du Cameroon. A few days after that, we saw a display, a parade on their television of what I call a setup, ladies and gentlemen, of a group they are alleged to have picked up somewhere around Ekom. Now, for those of you who do not know this, Ekom is the very next town to Ekok. In fact, from Ekok to Ekom is only about 30 or highest 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Now, those boys were picked up there, and they came along with some ammunition, with some explosives, and if you follow up that press conference, which has now gone viral on the internet, you will realize that the guy they paraded as a Cameroonian arms dealer, or let me put it this way, as an Ambazonian arms dealer with a Nigerian and Ambazonian parentage. If you look at that footage really good enough, you will realize that what that guy was confessing as his activities trading in arms was actually scripted and passed on to him to present. I guess Nigeria was pandering to a lot of people to Cameroon, like saying, we are doing your bidding for you. We are doing what you contracted us to do. But they probably do not know what Cameroon is planning against them. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, that was not yesterday. Today is Saturday. Yesterday was on Thursday. On Thursday, we received this piece of intelligence from a very high-ranking military officer within the Cameroon army. And he stated that the Cameroon army has plotted to launch attacks against the Nigerian Coast Guard, along the Bakassi area. And there are also settlements. In fact, almost every settlement along that border is made of Nigerians. So the military intelligence guy told us that the Cameroon government has put out a plot, and the plot is to go along the coastal border between Cameroon and Nigeria, launch attacks against the Nigerian Coast Guard and Nigerian settlements in that area. Of course, The plan is to then turn around and sell the message to Nigeria that this is being done by Ambazonian secessionists or separatists, as they love to call it. Now, yesterday, the interim government issued a press statement to that effect, and I will read it to you. And after I read that press statement, I will then follow it up with a few talking points. Now, for those of you who have not read that press statement, here it goes. It says, the interim government of Ambazonia has received impeccable security threats aimed at Nigerian security forces. Our sources from within the Cameroon military intelligence disclosed a well-thought-out plot to carry out assassinations on the Nigerian security agents serving along the border with Cameroon. The plot is particularly, in fact, I should actually say along the border with Ambazonia, not Cameroon. Nigeria doesn't have, their boundary with Cameroon is in the north, not in the south. The plot is particularly targeted to assassinate Nigerian coast guards and border officers. The plot is right now at its execution phase. The plot is right now at its execution phase, our intelligence says. Details of the plan include sending Cameroonian military men in plain or civilian clothes to assassinate a number of Nigerian security men and women and civilians in border villages and towns, especially on local market days or ceremonial days, to ensure maximum casualties. The act will be followed by video recordings showing some Ambazonians from the DDRO centers repeating rehearsed phrases in Pidgin English, usurping Ambazonian restoration forces and claiming responsibility for the attacks. Note should be taken that a recent military collaboration pact signed between the Nigerian government and the Cameroon government might have been done by the Nigerian government in good faith. But the hidden agenda by Cameroon government is to hurry the Nigerian government into believing that the Ambazonian quest for restoring of its independence constitutes immediate danger to Nigerian security. Within the context of the agreement with Nigeria, the Cameroon military has a possible cross-border permissions to the Nigerian military under the guise of pursuing the Ambazonian restoration forces. The interim government of Ambazonia is, by this press statement, cautioning Nigerian authorities and its citizens to be on their alert and to take necessary measures to monitor Cameroon military espionage at the borders with Ambazonia and inside Nigeria. The plots are orchestrated to give Ambazonians and Ambazonian refugees in Nigeria a bad name. The whole thing is a part of an ongoing treacherous plan, ladies and gentlemen, by the Cameroonian government. And it continues. Hard to create enmity between peace-loving Ambazonians and Nigerian people. It is particularly targeted to grow friction between the Ambazonian refugee community and the Nigerian security apparatus. This information is authentic enough for the Nigerian government to act upon it and to increase its vigilance in dealings with Cameroon, which has no sympathy at all for Nigerian lives, and will sacrifice them to achieve its goal of getting the refugees flushed out of Nigeria. That was a statement. That is a statement, and now let me sound the obvious to Nigerian authorities. Nigeria is reminded that for the life of the two countries since independence, talking about La République du Cameroon and Nigeria, there has never been such level of pressure on the Cameroon side to want to cooperate with Nigeria, be it either during the time of Amadou Ahidjo or that of Paul Biya. Cameroon has never treated Nigeria as a good neighbor or as a friend. In Cameroon, English-speaking Southern Cameroonians are derogatorily referred to as Biafrans. That isn't a compliment to Nigeria, of course. It is not. It is an affront. Nigerian authorities should be advised that recent efforts by Cameroon coercing cooperation and entering into loud-sounding empty alliances aren't for the common good of both countries. Absolutely not. The leaders of Cameroon, they operate at every level like 419 perpetrators. They never stretch a hand of friendship unless they have figured out what is going to be the advance payment or the advance fee, just as it is in typical 419. In the current situation, Nigerian leaders have been hooked wing by corrupt French Cameroon leaders to believe that if Nigeria should arrest and lock up Amazonian refugees, that Cameroon will turn around to help Nigeria fight Boko Haram, and that Cameroon will help Nigeria fight Igbo insurgency. Let me tell you this. Cameroon has every reason, and without entering into alliances with Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, to fight Boko Haram, because Boko Haram operates in our territory too. They are not limited to Nigeria. They don't need some alliances to deal with Boko Haram. By the way, Boko Haram has been operating in Cameroon territory for more than a decade. Why is it only now? They think an alliance is important. We are the interim government of Ambazonia. We have no doubt that Nigerian authorities are trying to enter into these cooperation pacts with La République du Cameroon in good faith. But Cameroon is not reciprocating, or will not reciprocate in good faith. Cameroon has an agenda. That agenda is to convince Nigerian authorities to be hostile and aggressive towards Southern Cameroon's refugees, with the ultimate goal of forcefully flushing them out of Nigeria. Once the refugees start trooping in their thousands back into the Southern Cameroons, Yaoundé will be glad to announce to the world how that they finally have a handle under the conflict. They will point to refugees returning as evidence that the conflict is being settled. This is the main motivation behind Cameroon propping up conflict between Ambazonians and Nigerian authorities. Besides killing of Nigerians, to turn around to charge Ambazonian refugees for it, Cameroon is trying desperately hard to convince Nigeria of a non-existent alliance between Ambazonia and the Biafra secessionists. Once more, to Nigerian authorities, let me reiterate or restate here, ladies and gentlemen, a point that this interim government of Ambazonia has articulated in the recent past about the alleged alliance. There are no two governments in Ambazonia leading the charge for a free and independent former British Southern Cameroons, now called Ambazonia. The only government, and again, the only government in place in this Ambazonian struggle is Ambazonia's interim government, with Dr. Samuel Zago as leader. This interim government has not, and again, has not entered into any signed alliances with any person or group of persons anywhere in Nigeria or across the globe to fight for a free Ambazonia. If any individuals have done so, they do so as figureheads. They do not represent the interests of Ambazonians and this interim government. As such, we declare a disclaimer. For the record, the interim government has no reasons posing a security threat to a good neighbor in Nigeria, especially when Nigeria is home to over 200,000 of our suffering people in refugees. We have no reason to be a security threat to Nigeria. We see Nigeria as a friend, not a fool. We have no reason to target Nigeria. There are hundreds of thousands of Nigerians living at home in the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. And nobody has threatened or targeted them. We consider them brothers and sisters. If we were a security threat to Nigeria, as Cameroon leaders want Nigeria to believe, we would be starting with those who live among us, with Nigerians who live among us in Ambazonia. But we have not and will not target them. We have no reason to attack Nigeria or posing security threats when our enemy is the Republic of Cameroon. In this war declared on us by the Republic of Cameroon, we have never as much as taken the battles into their territory. Why then, ladies and gentlemen, will we take it to Nigeria that hasn't offended us and which is the only resort for us to run to? The Ambazonia Restoration Forces have always fought in self-defense and within the confinement, the territorial integrity, the internationally recognized boundaries of the southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. We cannot emphasize this enough, ladies and gentlemen, that this interim government has no alliance and has never signed any alliance or agreement or pact with any Nigerian institution, movement, or group or political party that warrants any cross-border joint military operations. We have never. We absolutely have nothing to gain from forming alliances with a group or groups that have nothing to offer us. We are not secessionists or separatists like some. We are a people whose decolonization process was corrupted. We joined La République du Cameroun as a sovereign state, and we acknowledge their own sovereignty too. But over the years, it became very clear, it became evident, ladies and gentlemen, that what they called independence for the southern Cameroons was just another form of colonialism, with French Cameroon as a colonizing master. We've spoken the language of dialogue for over 50 years and counting. And French Cameroon totally won't understand it. They referred to the language of dialogue as Biafra, and they refer to it as 2 cups of sugar. Instead of talking with us, they choose war. We have to defend ourselves under all circumstances. We will go all the way to victory is ours, and to our flag is permanently erected in our capital in Boya. We urge the Nigerian government to remain vigilant, act smart, and to steer clear from manipulations and plots from French Cameroon leaders to get it entangled in a war that doesn't concern her. We urge the Nigerian government to station more of her security forces in the peninsula to help uncover Cameroon's plots to attack Nigerian citizens. Ambazonia has no forces in the peninsula. We have nothing, and I mean nothing to defend there. It belongs to us, so we have nothing to defend there. Our fight is in the mainland, and we fight to chase out every remnant of French Cameroon colonial authority. Nothing, and I mean nothing, will stop us. I hope Nigeria authorities understand, and I hope they hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the message I thought to bring to you today. I will now get to the draft which is coming up at the weekend. And before I get there, I really hope that we all get the message. Let us tweet this message. The message that French Cameroon plots to attack Nigerian coast guards and Nigerian citizens. What we believe here is Cameroon wants to go to all those settlements called Abana, all those riverine settlements around the peninsula, attack those villages and send the message to Nigeria that Ambazonian restoration forces carried out the attacks. We need to take that, we need to tweet that message. They may do it after they listen to this presentation. They may not do it. But we hope that it gets out to Nigeria, and that is a need. Why every one of us, you have to go out and tweet that message. You have to go out, tweet this message of Cameroon plotting to attack Nigerian positions in the peninsula. It is very, very important. Please, let's do that. Now, having said that, I will now get to the draft. I will now get to the draft that is coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Great Mesam Draft, the Great Mesam Draft. And let me say this. So many things have happened over the 1 year period from the last draft up to today. There are people out there who are concerned that not enough is happening in Mesam. And that is very, very true. But ladies and gentlemen, we can never renege. Again, we can never renege. Putting money on the table to make sure that the boys who are doing the work, they have enough resources to continue to do what they do. What I have seen in this struggle is that the diaspora, some in the diaspora are becoming politicians instead of leaders. They are turning into politicians and setting confusion on ground zero and pitting one group on ground zero against the other. We cannot, because of few selfish people, withhold funds from the boys who are defending the territory on ground zero. And so I will say that in spite of what is going on anywhere in any county, we have to draft for those counties, because it's not about the diaspora. It is not about the diaspora. It is not about the LGA leadership. It is about those boys who are putting their lives on the line on ground zero. One good thing is that we've seen some wonderful, wonderful battles in Bafut. We have seen them in the Bali with Grandpa and the rest. Listen, if you don't have any reason to draft because of Grandpa in Bali and others in Bafut who have tried. I know quite a lot of confusion in Bafut there as to who is doing what and who is who. But that notwithstanding, Bafut is rebuilding a team, a genuine team that will defend Ambazonia. And so my appeal to every one of you out there, is that let us make Mezam great. Not great again, but great. Let's make Mezam great. Let's make Bali even greater. Let's make Bafut better. Let's make Santa better. Let's make Tuba better. And every LGA in Mezam. That is my appeal to all of you out there, sympathizers of this struggle, and Bali people, please, I urge you, put the divisions aside. This is not about any leader in the diaspora. This is about the boys who are carrying those guns and going to the war front on ground zero. If you withhold a dime from the county, you are withholding it from those boys whose lives are on the line. Listen, leave leadership to the president of this country. I think there are certain things that he can step in and take some decisions. So I think he has a good handle on Bafut, he has a good handle on Bali, he has a good handle on all the LGAs, and he will do what he deems right to make sure that cohesion prevails in these LGAs. So please, I ask you, ignore the wranglings and draft to save our boys and to save Mezam, to save Ambazonia. I'm now joined by Dr. Ngwambe, who is my assistant here at the communications department, and of course I also have the chairman of Mezam joining me, Comrade Theo Fossey. Comrade Theo Fossey, if you can hear me, please centralize your image on the camera, please. Move a little bit to your right, slightly, if you can hear me. That is perfect now. All right. Mr. Chairman, it's a pleasure to have you, sir. I hope you can hear me. Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Your microphone was muted. You are fine now. Go on, sir.
All right. Sorry about that. I want to say thank you, Secretary Chris, for having me, and it's actually a pleasure for being in this show today. And I want to also seize this opportunity to thank you for the marvelous job you've been doing. And I think today is another good day for us to, deliberate on some of the very pertinent issues that we're having in the Mezam County. So once more, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me here. I also have again Dr. Ngwambe, who is the Under Secretary here at the Department of Communications, and he happens to be one of the leaders out there in Mezam, Bafut in particular. Dr. Ngwambe, pleasure to have you, sir. You look like, should I call it? What do they call those people in the palace? You look...
It looks like a Chinda.
Yeah, one of them. Good to see you, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, you are muted. Okay, go on, go on.
Yes, greetings, Secretary Chris, and greetings to the Honorable Chairman of Mezam County and Bafut. I also want to extend greetings to the people of Ambazonia and His Royal Highness, the Fon of Bafut, Fonabumbi II, and to our President, President Dr. Sako, and VP Abongo, and all cabinet members and LGA chairs, and our restoration forces, mind you. So greetings, everyone. Look forward to today's show.
Thank you. Let me start with the chairman, who is the CIC for Mezam, Commander-in-Chief, they call it. Mr. Chairman, sir, I will start with this because I think I will not be doing justice if I start with something else. We have heard so much out there of nothing happening in Mezam. How do you justify the appeal for people drafting Mezam with all those concerns out there?
Thank you for that question, Secretary Chris, and I will agree with you and with the rest of Ambazonians, especially in the northern zone, that Mezam has been a little bit silent for some time now, say close to a year. But I would say without mixing words that silence did not mean they were not active. They were in action but silent. And that involves a strategic planning to execute whatever plans we had and whatever plans we were looking in the future. And Mezam is quite big, and for the past years there were a couple of issues that were not quite handled, and those issues were supposed to be handled by the authorities that were put in place, and I think all those issues that brought Mezam to that standstill have been taken into consideration, and we are looking very, very powerfully to put everything back in place come 2021. I mean, after this draft. So again, also some of the LGAs had a few problems, internal problems that they had to address, and that does not only limit it to Bafut and Bali. And those issues, mind you, have been addressed, and some of them are still being addressed as we speak. And I would not go into details about all these issues. I think maybe you'll be asking me questions about those issues. But what I want to tell the people of Ambazonia is that the bigger picture is about Mezam, it's about Ambazonia. And the bigger picture, just like you mentioned, is about the boys on the ground. And we have been doing everything in our powers. In my power, I've been doing everything to see that the boys are in a better spirit to support motherland, to defend motherland, to protect our people who are in this dire situation. And that does not, it does not also deny the fact that we've had some problems with the boys and the way they carry out their duties, and that has been where we have a lot of conflict in these two LGAs, Bafut and Bali. But again, Secretary Chris, I want to say, without taking so much time on this, I want to say this draft of Mezam right now is just the best time it is happening, because everything has been put in place for a kickstart in Mezam. And like you mentioned in one of your statements, Mezam is waiting for this draft. Mezam people are actually anxious for this draft. People of Bafut, people of Bali are actually anxious for this draft, because they know exactly that we need this draft. We need this draft to be very, very successful, so that we can put all these plans that we have into place. And I think I don't know if I should start calling on them that this is the right time for them to keep aside their differences, keep aside all the grievances that they have about the stalemate in Mezam, and to actually come up and draft, because without this draft, Secretary Chris, we will not be able to carry out this plan that has been laid out and just waiting to be executed.
Talking about the problems in Mezam, Bafut is at the center of it. I actually understand a certain election supposed to be taking place. I think it is today or tomorrow. Why the draft is going on? I will turn to Dr. Ngwambe, who is actually one of the leaders in Bafut LGA. Dr. Ngwambe, if you can weigh in there, what is going on with an election taking place when it's supposed to be the draft?
Okay, Secretary Chris, before I explain that, I'm going to speak in a little bit about food to my people so that they can get into the mode of the explanation I'm going to give them. Food, no yoshiga no my way. I laugh this, which means Bafu people, look at my face. I'm laughing at this so-called election that is about to take place. I guess before I really address that election issue, I want to go back to this question that you asked Comrade Theo about why people should come out and support Mezam County, even though there hasn't been a lot of action there. We all saw what happened to the US government in Afghanistan. They had to pull out, even though they spent 20 years investing in the government of Afghanistan to stand. So because the US government did not get the success that they wanted in that particular situation, do you think we in America are going to stop paying our taxes because we're angry that the US government did not succeed in what was going on in Afghanistan? Hell no. Look at the Taliban. The Taliban were kicked out by America, right? For 20 years, they've been sitting on the sidelines. Do you think they were just doing nothing? Do you think they were not garnering resources, planning, recruiting, capacity building, and all those things, waiting for that day that they would come back to take over Afghanistan? Hell no, they didn't do that. They kept doing what they needed to do, building their capacity, contributing, and making sure that when the time was right, they'll be able to take over Afghanistan. So this is why we need you, Ambazonians, to come in and continue to support Ambazonia. My fellow Ambazonians, places like Ngokitunja and Bui were not built in one day. They went through their issues. And you know what? Committed people in the background, people who believed in Ambazonia, people who are ready to stand up for Ambazonia and who believe in freedom, liberation, and do not want to live with those idiots in French Cameroon anymore. They continue to support their counties and they continue to support their LGAs until they got the situation right in those areas. And that's what is going on in Mezam. Mezam, we've been doing capacity building. There's a lot of things going on in the background. Unfortunately, it's very difficult at times to really come out and explain it to you all. But trust me when I tell you there are good things happening in the background that when they start to manifest, you all will be very proud that you will continue to contribute and support Ambazonians from Mezam. Now, let's look at this question that Secretary Chris just brought up. Draft from last year. You all know the amount of money that came in, so I'm not going to speak to that. All of a sudden, things aren't happening. Productivity isn't happening in Mezam the way you all are expecting, and even the way we as leaders in Mezam and Bafut in particular are expecting it. So when you start to see things, you plot a graph, and you see that graph is instantly going down, 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 down. As a leader, or being part of the leadership team, what do? You look at that gradient, it's not going in a positive direction, you recalibrate, you do an assessment, you re-strategize, and you find a different way forward. And that is what we did in Mezam, and that is what we did in Bafut. If you do not have reliable operatives in ground zero, you cannot move forward. No, people who think that throwing money at unreliable operatives makes sense, you can go and support those who are trying to organize whatever fake thing that they're doing over the weekend. But if you want to be behind and support those people who are against kidnapping, who are against ransom taking, who believe in strategic productivity, who believe that we should be working together with the interim government, because after all, we're trying to prove to the world that we are a government and that we are a nation, then you will understand what we in Bafut did to move on to another set of operatives so that we could deliver on the contributions and the expectations that the Ambazonian people in Ambazonia and all over the world are expecting from us. That's what I want to say about that. I think as we go further into this conversation, I'll dive a little deeper. Thank you.
Does the chairman has anything to add there?
I think Dr. Ngwambe has actually said it all. I mean, the first part of it, and I think this election thing, like he said, is laughable and it's pathetic. Laughable in the sense that, Secretary Chris, we have met in a couple of occasions, and in what capacity, if I may ask this question, in the capacity as the Secretary of Communications for the Republic of Ambazonia, and me inviting you over for these occasions as the chair for Bafut, the chairman for Bafut, duly elected, democratically elected, and supervised and endorsed by the interim government under President Sako. And when you hear people saying that they are organizing an election on the day that Mezam is drafted, does that not ring a bell that these are just people who are not actually patriotic and people who do not actually have this cause at heart? Now, going into a little bit into this issue of elections in Bafut, tell you what, they just redrew that the Zoom link that they sent out because they knew exactly how you're gonna buy them. So they redrew it. Just yesterday, they redrew it from public media. But what I would tell Ambazonians, and especially the people of Bafut, is that they know this place. They know the name. They know exactly how we came to be. And they know exactly what we have been doing for the people of Bafut, for the people of Ambazonia. And Secretary Chris, I will tell you this, and I think you are privy to some of this information. Before the formation of the county by county and the LGA by LGA structure, we had the group coordination that were handling situations back in Bafut. And like you said, we had very, very good results, but that is past glories, which we'll continue to praise them for that. But Ambazonians and Mezam has witnessed some laxity in the actions and in the capacity of these our fighters on the ground. And when we look deep into it, we realize that it was an intentional act not to prosecute this war or prosecute this struggle the way we intended. And even giving them the resources that they were asked, it was not still carried out. And just like Dr. Ngwambe explained, if Ambazonians, Bafut people, have contributed their hard-earned money and sent to the boys to use, and they take the money and they sit on it, and when we ask for accountability, we ask for transparency, I could not be given, and then those operatives, those who are handling them, they feel we are tampering with their egos, and then they go on an offensive, they go on some kind of an attack on a legally body, a legal instituted LGA with a chair endorsed and supervised by the interim government. It is funny. It is really funny, and this is a slap to all Bafut people. It's a slap on their face because Bafut people rallied behind the formation of the Bafut LGA, which is called Ndabufu Worldwide. And the work that we have done since the creation is out there for Bafut people to appreciate. If you call 10 in every, if you call 10 Bafut people right now, Secretary Chris, and ask them what the Bafut LGA has done to Bafut, you will hear the marvelous reply they will give you. But call and ask them what coordination has done to Bafut in the past year. What the boys in Bafut, not all of them, we have some good fighters there, we have some good boys, but what the leaders they have done to Bafut, you'll be sorry for Bafut, you'll be sorry for Mezam, you'll even be sorry for Ambazonia as a whole, because the actions recently does not define who we are as the interim government. It does not define who we are as Ambazonians. And that was something that we in the executive, we said we will not sit and fold our hands and see. So we said, no, this has to stop. I started going out there very early and denouncing kidnapping, denouncing the suffering of our people. I fought so hard when the market was closed and I was suffering, people were suffering and crying. And every time I would get these complaints coming to my table and I would channel it to the authorities that claim to be handling the voice on the ground. But no, And I want to let Bafut people know that the people who closed the markets were their own sons who closed the markets. How many people suffered from those markets? I'm just quoting an example. How many people suffered from that market that was closed? But thank God, I intervened. I struggled, I fought, and that market was open. But that was all in the background, you know. And again, the kidnapping and continuous road collection of money from poor drivers who are struggling to earn a living, huge sums of money. When people die, these same boys ask for money to be buried and stuff like that. I don't think these were things that we decided on. These were not principles on how to persecute this struggle. So those are some of the things that we came after. And when we came after, the only thing they could do was to attack the executive of the Bafut LGA. So that is why you see them going out there, spreading those false information and saying that they want to organize an election. Well, I don't know what election they want to organize. I don't know, organize an election under which interim government. I think the question, I think we can answer that question. So, Secretary Chris, I will leave it for now, and if more comes, we'll keep on answering.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. I think it is difficult now to even delve into that debate without having the other party here to respond. So, but as I said from my talking points, I don't think that there should be anything that stops Mezamite or Ambazonians from drafting as they have done with other counties to support the LGAs in Mezam. What message would you give Ambazonians out there and Mezamites out there that going forward after the draft, things will look different, things will take a different shape? What assurances do you have for them? Because I think I heard you mention that people take money, sit on it, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing with the funds. How different if Ambazonians should trust you to put money in your pocket? How are you going to manage it different this time?
Is that question directed to the chair or
any of you?
Okay,
can
Dr.
take
Wabe,
it.
you can go ahead.
Well, I mean, before I answer that question, Secretary Chris, I want to address this issue about talking to the other party, bringing the other party in to have this discussion. One thing I want Ambazonians to know is that this other party is not under the canopy of the interim government. As a matter of fact, this other party, they always claim they're neutral. And one thing I'll tell you, my fellow Ambazonians, is that whenever I hear anyone in this liberation struggle saying they are neutral, I start checking my back pocket, because I know they're going to steal my wallet and not do what they're supposed to do with it. These people who are under coordination, as you know, just let's get it out there, under coordination, they say they're neutral. And what does that neutrality mean? That neutrality for them means that they want to be able to pick the pocket of the interim government of Ambazonia. They want to be able to pick the pocket of those who serve, who fund AMF. They want to pick the pocket of those who are in ADF. And when you look at it and you look at the totality of the money that these people are going, that coordination and its operatives are going around and collecting from all these institutions, and then you look at the lack of productivity inside the zone of Bafut, you ask yourself, is this a money-making scheme these guys are on, or are they really fighting a liberation war? My fellow Ambazonians, I don't know about you, especially those of you in the diaspora, I don't know about you, but I eventually want to go home. I want us to have a free country. I want us to live under democracy. I don't want to be under people who are kidnapping, ransom taking. I mean, I'm sure my fellow Bafut people, you heard of the crippled son of Bafut that they beat to death. I'm sure you've seen the videos of our Ambazonian women, which they naked and recorded it. They're doing the same tactics that La Republique does to our Ambazonian women. And those are the people that want to organize an election. I mean, it's very disgusting. It is very disgusting. And no, if then maybe you'll go and be supporting those people. Meaning, if you don't have water in your head, maybe you'll go and be supporting those people. But if you have Nki in your head, you'll be with us.
So the point you are making is Ambazonians ignore those people. They are not even part of the interim government. They are doing their own thing.
Yeah, Secretary Chris, their general, the person who they call their general, came out, both of them actually, came out and made audios and say, now that's Sakoi boy them not. We don't kidnap that Sakoi boy them not. Now that's Sakoi boy them not. Then they come around all of a sudden, they're making audios, oh, we don't have a problem with Dr. Sako. They don't even call him President Sako. They say we don't have a problem with Sako. We instead hate, we don't hate Sako. We instead hate those in the Bafut LGA. You hate us in the Bafut LGA for what? Because we asked you all for accountability. We sent you money. Instead of you producing the things that you were supposed to do with that money, you didn't. We sent you money to Breda. You go and steal a generator from a gas station in Bafut and come and present it to us as you have bought something. When you all are, we ask you, why are you all kidnapping? You kidnapped some people last year. We asked you, what did you do with that money that you kidnapped? Get that money back. You tell us we used the money to fight the war. When we scan around in the vicinity to see what project you did with that war, what activity occurred during that week that you say you used that money for, we see no project. What are you all doing? And you want us to respect you, and then they're foolish people who are running around and they say they want to organize an election to come and support you? The reputation of some of us in this country and in the diaspora is being ruined by these people. That's one of the reasons why you see me, I'm so very animated and hot about this thing. But I'm not going to insult anyone. I'm going to give you passionate objectivism, because the things that these people have done, they are ruining the reputation of this liberation struggle. And it must end, and we must stand up and call these people out and let them go about and do something else, because war is a dangerous thing. Our people are suffering. The money we're contributing, we could have been contributing it towards strengthening our families. So we need to do what is right with the money that we're doing, defeat La Republique, so we can get back to the business of making Ambazonia one of the greatest countries in Africa. And if these guys in Bafut coordination and their operatives in Ground Zero, if they're not ready for an independent Ambazonia, they need to get out of the way and let us prosecute this war the way it needs to be prosecuted.
Mr. Chairman, you have something to add in there, please.
Just to say something, Mr. Chris. Even though this is a very good opportunity for us to say it as it is, so that Bafut people and people of Ambazonia and Mezam people in particular can understand exactly why Bafut has been in that way. But I would also want to say tomorrow we are drafting for Mezam, and we all understand that this is a bigger picture. This is Mezam we are talking about. It's not only about Bafut. If Bafut and the fighters in Bafut do not want to stand up to their task and do what is right, we have other LGAs that are willing to fight this fight. If they cannot turn over and behave like other patriotic fighters, generals, field marshals on the field, Mezam, Ambazonia will still go ahead. Their inactivity cannot stop our productivity. Like again, we have elite forces. We have elite forces, and that is part of the strategic plan that we've been doing. That is part of what we've been doing in this silence, in this deadlock, in this inactivity in Bafut. We have been strategizing and building. And if they like to join the moving train, that is fine with us. That is fine with Bafut LGA. That is fine with this interim government, and that is fine with Mezam. If they don't want, we will continue. And they are Bafut people, mind you, they are Bafut people who have decided that they will support neighboring LGA under our guidance as the Bafut LGA, under our guidance, because they are not happy with the people who are handling the boys on the ground. Coordination. So many of them, heavy pocket donors, said they will not do that. They would prefer to send their hard-earned money to productive LGAs. Now, Secretary Chris, should I say no to that? Of course, no. If they ask me for help to, direct their resources towards that, I will gladly do that, rather than giving money to people who cannot deliver the goods. Now, again, Secretary Chris, like I said, this is a good forum for us to say a lot of things about what is plaguing Bafut and Bali, but I think we should concentrate more about the draft. Now, let me dive a little bit in Bali. I think the situation in Bali is even better than what we have. The situation in Bali is just a one-man show, someone who is disgruntled and want to hold Bali hostage. But I think Grandpa and the fighters in Bali have realized that one person cannot hold them hostage, because this is a struggle. It's for the people of Ambazonia, it's for the people of Mezam, it's for the people of Bali. So one person cannot just decide the fate of Bali people. So again, I think the issue in Bali has been solved, and Bali people will be drafting heavily tomorrow. So I can assure you about that. They have been fired up, and a lot of people in the Bafut LJ has been fired up. We are very happy to announce that drafting has been going on so smoothly, and we are happy that the boys that are in the camp, the boys that are almost graduating, would be reaping from these patriotic Bafut elites who have decided to pursue the truth, and those who are actually bent on prosecuting this war the right way. We don't want, I have rubbed my name too much in the mud upon all I have sacrificed for this struggle, the kidnappings, the torturing of our people, closing of markets. I mean, the suffering is too much for our people, and we cannot continue to look at the people who condone this and do not outrightly call it or condemn it. So we cannot work with people like that. So Secretary Chris, one last thing I want to say about this is calling the other side to come here, like Dr. Ngwambe said, it might be a good thing to have people to air out their views, but you should be clear about this. We should be clear about this. These are not people who even know what the Amber Peace Plan is. These are just a group of people who think power is so sweet and they want to clinch on it for selfish gains. And so having them on here, Secretary Chris, is your choice, is the choice of people, it's a democratic choice. But again, Ambazonian people should understand, Bafut people should understand, Mezam people should understand that not everybody who says he's fighting this war is fighting it for the people of Ambazonia. Just like the Bible says, not everybody who calls the name of God will even enter the kingdom of God.
Thank you. As I said, we will leave that there. I definitely will get to those other people to hear what they have in their minds. But right now, what is at stake is the draft. Tell the people in Mezam, in Santai, in Tuba, in Bali, in Bafut, and Bamendankwe, and so on. Tell them why they should be drafting tomorrow.
Yeah, that is a big question, and that is the question that we should be talking about right now, Secretary Chris. And I think it's a very, very important question, and it's a privilege for me to address Mezam people at this moment, at this very, very dire time in our struggle, in our revolution. I think, like I said in my opening talk, I said Mezam has been silent, but we have been strategizing, we have been building, and it is time for us to deliver the goods. It's time for us to all enjoy the fruits that this silence has yielded. All the LGAs in Mezam, I want to appeal with you. I want to let you understand that it's not been easy. It's not been an easy ride for the past 1 year. I just took over a very, very powerful lady, Ma Gertrude, who handled Mezam so well. But for some personal reason, she decided to get some rest. And so before leaving, she had built a very firm groundwork for Mezam to work on. And that is the same path that I will continue and even make it better. And I have a very, very dynamic defense team that they've been working night and day. I mean, they've burned the midnight candle, and they have put so much in place that Mezam people will just have to wait and see the results. Sometimes it's not good to put it out there for people to start getting that excitement before the actual excitement comes. What I'm saying is there is a very delicious dinner on the table, if I can make it that simple. There is a lot for us to take back home. There's a lot for Mezam. There's a lot for Tuba. There's a lot for Bali. There's a lot for Santa. There's a lot for all the other LGAs to, enjoy from this strategic planning that the defense in Mezam has been doing. They have done a marvelous job. I can tell you that. I will not be giving details here, but what I can tell the people of Ambazon, the people of Mezam, is that what we have in front of us is something that will make Mezam proud again. We have kick-started everything, and we are just waiting for this draft to go by, and then our actions will start. So, Secretary Chris, I think sometimes, like I said, details could not be given out here, but the people of Mezam should be rest assured. They should come out massively to support this draft, because they will not regret their actions. Everything has changed. Everything has a new path. Everything is well planned, and everything will be well executed. I mean, talking about their money, we have the federal treasury handling the money for Mezam, and it is also the best I would say the best handlers of funds that will be generated from our draft, and they will distribute it accordingly. And I think from this draft that is coming up, every penny will be accounted for, and people should be rest assured that nothing will happen to disappoint them. That I could swear with my blood on that. We have done everything to put Mezam back on track, to put Ambazonia back on track, and to give Mezam the name that it actually deserves, Great Mezam. So once more, thank you again. I don't know if the
will you catch or capture Lele Lafrique if Ambazonian should give you this money?
So, Secretary Chris, you know Lele Lafrique is one of Ambazonian's #1 enemy. As a matter of fact, if you look at the top of the pyramid, the tip of the spear of the enemies of Ambazonia is President Paul Biya. And I mean, I was listening to your monologue, and you indicated that there was intelligence coming in that La Republique wants to target our funds. So you realize that when you have people who are trying to go after our heritage like this, you know that these people, President Dictator Paul Biya, is one of our #1 enemies, and if he happens to touch any of our funds, or if La Republique happens to attack any of our funds, the family of Dictator Biya will be hunted by Ambazonian operatives after we get this independence. We will promise them that. So let them take care in what they're doing. But Lele Afrique is one of our #1. It's high on the list. Anybody who stands in the way of Ambazonia independence is high on our list. So the thing I really want to let the people of Ambazonia and the world know is that you cannot spell Ambazonia without the M for Mezam. We have built a very formidable team in Mezam, from Bali to Tuba to Santa Bafut. The Nkwensa is there, Bamenakwe is there. I have seen the images behind the scenes. Like I said, unfortunately, it is difficult. It is difficult to come and really put some of these things out there for you all to digest. But those who are in leadership, we understand that when you're in leadership, you have to go deep, especially when you have to prove a point to the other donors for them to come in and support. And I want to tell you, my fellow Ambazonians, that those who are in leadership, we have gone deep, and we have made sure we funded what you are about to see in the background. So we just need you to come and join us on Sunday at 7 p.m. Amba time, which Sunday tomorrow, or maybe today for those of you who have already gone to bed. Join us tomorrow and come and make sure that all of our efforts, everything that we have done, it does not go to waste. We are almost there. We're this close, my fellow Ambazonians, and we need your support. As you've seen, Mezam has been in every county supporting the other counties and LGAs. We believe in Ambazonia. We expect you all to believe in us, and we know you believe in us. So see you tomorrow. God bless you all.
Wonderful. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's hope that every Ambazonian out there gets your message. And as I said from the onset, this thing is about the people on the ground who are paying the price, not about the diaspora. So in spite of the differences in the diaspora, let's hope that every Mezamite and Ambazonian in the diaspora shows up tomorrow at the draft to support Mezam. Again, Bali has done a great job. Food has done a great job. Pinyin has done a great job. Even Tuba has done a great job.
Right.
There is absolutely no reason why we should, because of these wrangles in the diaspora, abandon these fighters into their own fate. Let's show up, let's support them, let's draft for them, and the politicians will take care of their own problems. Thank you for sharing up. God bless. Mr. Chairman, you still have something to say? Go ahead, please.
Oh, yes, I just wanted to add that, like you said, it's about our fighters on the ground. And this draft is not only limited to those who are defending motherland and fighting for the restoration of our independence. I think it's also about those who are actually suffering in the hands of the carnage that is going on back home, and is suffering from this senseless war declared by Obia. I think we have IDPs, we have widows, we have maimed, we have citizens of Amazonia who are suffering from this. So we are also pleading with donors and friends of British Southern Cameroon's Amazonia to come and support this mass of people that are actually suffering. We have a lot of refugees in Nigeria that are also going through a lot of suffering right now as we speak, and the IDPs who are dotted here and there. So we think if you are not sympathetic for this struggle, be sympathetic for those who are actually suffering as a result of this senseless war. So we are actually appealing for those who have consciences. Please dig deep into your better nature. Come out and support those who are suffering. Dip your hands deep in your pocket and support those mothers, those orphans, those cripples, those people are actually suffering. Those old people are actually suffering from this senseless war that was declared on us. This is actually a very emotional plea that I'm giving to my friends, my fellow LGA comrades, and please come out and let's jointly support Mezam and give back a little bit of smile on the faces of the desperate ones in Mezam and Amazonia as a whole. So once more, I want to thank everyone, and I think tomorrow is a big day, and I believe that we will beat the record of 2020 draft. I am very, very confident about that, and I hope to see you again tomorrow and draft. So please come and draft as if your life depended on it. Thank you.
Hey, Secretary Chris, let me add one last thing. From my fellow Ambazonians, do you all know the song by Jimmy Cliff now, Better Days Are Coming? Better days are coming for Mezam. And I also want to add that on behalf of the people of Amazonia, especially Ambazonians from Mezam, we want to, extend our well wishes to Tumfo and Boher. But our anthem says that God is a watchman of this nation, and God was definitely watching over in Tumfo in the accident that he had yesterday. So our thoughts and prayers are with him. And I also want to add, I want to thank our brother. I just saw him here, who is reminding us that today is the president's birthday. So happy birthday, President Dr.
Oh yeah, happy birthday to the president.
Yes. So thank you to our brother here who reminded us about that, to bring that up.
All right.
See you all tomorrow.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of this broadcast. Let's hope for a great draft tomorrow, and see that some money is put in the pocket of those fighters in the Bali, in Bafut and Tuba and Pinyin, Santa, Bamendang, Mankon, all those places. Thank you. Wishing you the best, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for having us.
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is all that we have for you today. We'll not be taking any phone calls. Let's go home with a message and prepare for the draft tomorrow. Please go out and draft for Grandpa, draft for Bali. Let's motivate them. Let's encourage them. Let's let them know we support what they do. We stand by them in what they do. The politicians will take care of politics. Let the fighters take care of the fighting. Let's put money and equipment into their hands. Thank you very much for tuning in. I look forward to being back here on Tuesday, I guess. Tuesday, with more updates on the struggle. Good night. God bless.